Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys all of my book selections for our history for this year. I still have not totally planned out the whole year for our history, which I usually don't do. I usually take things a little slow and do like the first few months and get my brain wrapped around that. So this will just be like sharing with you guys a flip through so you can see the insides of the books that I shared with you guys when I did my curriculum reveal for 2019-2020. So if you guys have not seen my whole curriculum reveal of all of our curriculum choices, I will share that down below in my description box, along with a lot of the flip throughs that I've done. This will be the last subject flip through that I'm going to do. I already did our homeschool electives, our language arts, our math, and our science. And if you want to see those videos of a flip through of all of those resources that I have, I will link them down below. This is what I'm going to share with you guys first, which is the book of history, and it's by Master Books, and it's a big 15-foot timeline that I think is a really good resource. This book is recommended, they said, for 7 to 12-year-olds, and I really enjoy it as an adult looking through it because it makes history come alive. I love how they explain the timeline abbreviations, and they give you like a color-coded reference key code here for the middle of the book, so you know that this is biblical, that is the technology and the inventions, and then the red is the civilizations and empires is right here. So this is the first look of the page. This will be sharing at the very beginning of creation. Like I said, they talk about Adam and Eve. They give you all the details of the Great Flood through Genesis 6 to 9, and they give you a breakdown of what happened on all those days. And I just think it's really interesting, like some of the facts that they give in this book are really good for, you know, a young elementary age kid to understand. So when you are reading the Bible or you're reading a book like Story of the World, you can reference back to this. So as far as our biography books, I picked up a lot of these books at library sales and thriftbooks.com and Amazon. So a lot of these you'll see I got really good deals on, and whenever I see a book I'm interested in, I just grab it because I know that we'll probably be using it in the future. So I think biographies are really good way to learn about history, and it makes you feel like you're a part of their world when you're reading about them. We got Who Was Thomas Edison, What Was the Titanic, Who Was Albert Einstein, I Am Martin Luther King Jr., Amelia Earhart, and then I have the National Geographic Kids. So these we actually read not too long ago, actually last week, because we went to the airport, a private airport, with our friends, and they showed us around and we toured the airports or the airplanes, and this was just a very fun way to incorporate biography along with a field trip, and it made it really fun. It brought it to life, and it was really neat to read about her history and how she became a pilot. This is about a nurse during, I think, World War I. Yeah, World War I. This is called Mary on Horseback, and I got this from Bookshark, and we never read it for her kindergarten year, but I think now since she's in second grade, she'll be more interested in this. This is the story of Louis Braille, and this is Out of Darkness, so this is all about him and how his childhood was, and this is a short read as well. Also, Isaac Newton and the Laws of Motion, and this is like a comic book for Isaac Newton. And I found this a while ago. It's George Washington, a picture book biography. I thought that this was interesting because it has beautiful pictures and like little like paragraphs to read on the side. These books to go along with our ancient times with using the Story of the World. So these are really good books to have. Like this one is really nice. It's a step 4 reader, so it's something that I could read to them or my daughter could read. And then the Time Warp Trio, and I thought this one would be a really neat one. It's If You Lived in the Colonial Times, and this is a scholastic book, and this is what the contents look like. When were colonial times? What did colonial people look like? What happened if you were sick? What books did children read? So it gives you like a glimpse into their life. This would be really fun to read with my kids because we are really into the Little House series. And then if you traveled on the Underground Railroad, this one looks very good. This is definitely something that I want to discuss with my kids. We also have another book that's actually a fiction book where this dog travels back in time and lives through this period. So this would be a good book to go along with that. So these are just some of the books that I have found in the past few years that we will probably look into this year. And I'm really drawn to the biographies this year, learning about people. So that might be our history curriculum this year, along with these other resources. So this is a resource that I got. It's from Abeka. It's Our America. It's for a grade 2 history and geography reader. So it's a very simple read. It's a very short little book. It's America Our Home, and they talk about the people who built America and tomorrow's America. So you can see it's definitely a second grade reader. They have little questions and review at the end. So this is really like a school textbook, but it's a little bit nicer and more colorful. And I think what I might do is just take a few of these topics that they're talking about. They talk about all the holidays and stuff like that, and very, very important things that, you know, America has been through, and we can read about it in this book, maybe make a unit study out of it, and combine it with geography. We have lots of things that I want to do, and maybe pull together a unit study with geography in this. I did this last year for their curriculum. We primarily use the audio CD. There's 7 CDs, and we're almost done with it. We have a few weeks left. And we enjoy the CD because it was really easy to just put in our car and listen to for 15-20 minutes before we had to go to a co-op, or if we had to go to a library class, or if we were just doing errands, my kids and I would listen to the story of the world. So this is what the table of content looks like. There's 42 chapters. It starts with the earliest people, and then it goes all the way to the end of Rome, which is here. I'll share with you guys what it looks like in the inside. So for instance, chapter 1 looks like this. And they give you like cross-reference encyclopedias to use along with this book. And you don't have to use it, but these are just some options. And they have review questions, narration exercises, and things that you can ask them here. If you're listening to it on audio, it's just easy for me to naturally just ask them questions or talk about it. And that's how we did it. But you can always do it this way, especially if your kids are reading the book by themselves. Like you might have a middle schooler reading this by themselves, or a 5th grader, and you can just discuss the questions with them. They have additional history reading, and then they have corresponding literature suggestions. So that is really cool. So if your kids are into any of the historical events of the times, of the ancient times, there's lots of books that they recommend for them to read, which is really nice because that's when they are learning the most, when they're really interested in the subject. And then they have map work and a coloring page and activity projects, which is all listed here, and they tell you the materials that you need. So this is like a quick little flip through of what the back of the second half of the book looks like. They have map work and coloring pages and activities of things that they could do when they're listening to the CD or when they're listening to you read the book. So we chose to listen to the CD because it was just easier at the time, because we do read a lot of read out louds. So this is a very good curriculum, and I'm thinking about doing the Story of the World Volume 2 eventually, and so I will definitely let you guys know what I'm going to be doing in a later video. I have the Usborne Book of Living Long Ago, and it's a really great book. It goes through what they've worn throughout the periods and their houses, what they look like, travel and transportation. So this one's a really neat one. I actually got this from Bookshark for my daughter's kindergarten, and we've still been using it. It's really, really good. So this is just a book that it's good to have in your homeschool library. I also have the Usborne Time Traveler, which is a new book to my library. This book has been around probably for a very long time, but I just think it's just like a bigger version of this one for like older kids. It talks about the insides of the castles and building sites and showing the towns and what the people are doing, and it's really, really neat. I really love these detailed picture books where you can see how they live and get a taste of, you know, history through pictures. And then I have the timeline book that I've gotten back from Bookshark, where we're going to try our darnest to create a timeline. I also have this book, which I showed you at the beginning of the video, to go along with the timeline figures here. So they've done several timeline figures on here for us to cut out and for us to put in this book. So this is what it looks like. It's just very simple, and it's really nice cardstock, and they have beige pages for the BC, and for AD they have white pages. So there's lots of things that you can do with this. I like it because it's not going to be on our wall. It's very minimal, and we could always add lots of events from history, and all of the biographies that we read we can put into this timeline. So it sounds like a good idea. I'm just hoping that we'll be able to follow through with it. But this is definitely a really good book for your older kids to do on their own, and to have a fun project to get all of the things that they've studied throughout the years in a timeline. And it's a really fun book to keep forever and have in your portfolio. Here is another great book by D.K. Smithsonian. It's the Knowledge Encyclopedia, and I'm just going to show you guys through the history part of it because there's lots of information in here, and I had to take my camera off because that's how big this book is. But it goes through the ancient world, the first towns, the early empires, and the pictures are just really wonderful on here. Lots of realistic pictures, lots of photography taken, and they have lots of facts and information to read about when you're looking at these pictures. There's so much detail in these D.K. Smithsonian books. I really enjoy them a lot. They are not Christian or biblically based like the timeline I showed you from Master Books, but I like how it's all set up and laid out in this book, where it makes you feel like you want to learn more about it and look into certain like times of history. The medieval world, the Viking raiders, fortresses. So this is just like a little peek of some of the stuff that you'll be seeing in this book for history. Like I said, they have lots of other subjects, so there's just so much information in these type of books. So this encyclopedia I think is well worth getting down the road. I mean, if you see this at a thrift store, I will grab it. I saw it the other day at a thrift store, but I already had it, so I was like, I really don't need it. But the human body, you could do so many you could do so many unit studies and incorporate this book with it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you got some good recommendations on some books that you might like to have for your homeschool library. And like I said, you don't need all these books at all. These are just ones that I've gotten in the past few years since I've been homeschooling. You can get a lot of these at the library. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you guys join. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.